Okay, welcome. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining LightWerks Communication Systems for our 4th annual virtual trade show, The Future of Video Conferencing. My name is Nicole Gordon, and I'm the Head of Education and Engagement here at LightWerks. I'll be hosting today's event, and it's an absolute pleasure to see so many familiar names and returning participants and members of our loyal LightWerks customer base. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to share our industry's latest developments and innovations in video conferencing technology with all of you. As mentioned, we have a terrific day planned, including presentations from our leading manufacturer partners. A keynote entitled "The Future of Workplaces" is all about experiences from 3-time award-winning TEDx speaker and founder of the Rave agency, Gary Kay. And of course, giveaways at the end of each presentation and a grand prize at the very end. In addition, as a thank you for attending 2 or more presentations, participants will be receiving Amazon gift cards. These incredible prizes are all thanks to the generosity of our vendor partners you're going to be hearing from today. And again, thank you so much for your presence, support, and partnership. And a very special thank you to our premier sponsors, Neat, Starin, Crestron, and Sharp NEC. We love building solutions with you. Speaking of building communication solutions, LightWerks is a leader in AV communication solutions and services. We serve corporations, educational institutions, and healthcare organizations. And we do this all across the West Coast and nationwide. We've successfully managed and commissioned projects throughout the US. We specialize in AV design, installation, and support, and we're experts in Microsoft Teams and Zoom conferencing, video walls, and audio solutions. We work closely with our clients to create custom solutions and develop technology solution standards that meet all their needs and objectives. In short, we get to take all the fun technology that you're about to see and create stunning state-of-the-art spaces where individuals and groups can connect and present with confidence. Before we get started, I want to direct everyone's attention to the Q&A icon on your screens. I hope you can see it. We have disabled the chat, but the Q&A should be there. Please use that button to type in your questions, and you can look forward to live responses from our presenters as our team monitors that Q&A box throughout today's presentations. And at the end of each presentation, our presenters are going to be drawing a number based on our participant list. That number is going to correspond to the winner of each manufacturer's giveaway. Finally, with the exception of our keynote presentation, this virtual trade show is being recorded. So you can look forward to videos being posted to our website, www.lightworks.com, in the next few days. So who's ready to hear about the future of video conferencing? Let's get started with our friends from Neat and Starin. We've got Rob Swan, Channel Marketing Manager, and Darren Worthington, our Product Specialist. Thank you so much, Neat and Starin, for being here. I'm going to have you go ahead and share your screen and welcome everyone to the future of video conferencing.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm Mike Bernatos, Key Account Manager here for the West at Starin. We're one of LightWerks value-added distribution partners. Thank you for letting us kick off your virtual trade show on the future of video conferencing. We have a great presentation planned for you by our partners at Neat, one of the top brands at Starin. Rob Swan and Darren Worthington will be leading the conversation on the competitive advantages to doing hybrid right. But first, I wanted to share some exciting news about another complementary product that accommodates video when doing hybrid right. Think of this as the preview before the show. So we've recently entered an exclusive partnership with Origin Acoustics on their first commercial line called Origin Pro. Who is Origin Pro? They're a high-end architectural residential speaker line. A lot of their products can't be heard, but they're seen at Resorts World, The Wynn, Encore, and other Las Vegas resorts. They have OEM partners with Bang Olufsen and Crestron Residential. They came to us noticing that there was a demand for their products in the commercial spaces. And here's why. The OA Pro product line does more with less, meaning they have a higher dispersion pattern, 45 degrees, opposed to the industry standard of 25 degrees. Next slide, please. They have pendant speakers that are cylindrical and not tear-shaped. They come in black, they come in white, and they also have dedicated bass that once your all hands meeting is over, you can basically rock out with the OA Pro line. Next slide, thank you. They have surface mounted speakers with the same capabilities as the ceiling and the pendants, and they're waterproof. Next slide. They've also created amplifiers, 1 and 2U options, as well as Dante built in. So one of the unique things about OA Pro through this partnerships is they also will help create acoustical treatments. So they take a look at your offices, take a look at your all hand spaces, and they can do design work for free, different textures, different colors, shapes, and they do this for free as well with taking a look at their speaker line. So free of charge designs for acoustical treatments. They also do custom grills to make your spaces unique as well. So OA Pro is located in Las Vegas, Nevada. They have a showroom there. Stern won't be flying you out there, but we can definitely get you a QR code to get an Uber ride to the showroom, talk to their experts, hear the speakers, see the acoustical treatments they have on hand. So if you're interested to hear more about OA Pro, please contact your LightWerks account manager, and we can help design your audio experience for the future of video conferencing. Now it's my pleasure to hand it off to Rob Swan with Neat to present the competitive advantages to doing hybrid right.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everybody, for your time. Wow, what a huge group of people here. Really appreciate it. We hope you'll stay to the end. We are giving away a really beautiful Neat frame. It's a $1,500 personal video device that Darren will show you. But first, we're going to do a presentation that's actually not a lot about technology. It's really about hybrid strategies that can help your organization be as productive as possible in both home and office settings. So we'll start with what we've learned about hybrid work. So hybrid, just I think everyone knows this, but just in case, hybrid is really the ability to be able to work from an office and also work remotely. So that could be from home, that could be from a coffee shop, that could be from the road. What the data shows is that 55% of the people actually don't have the ability to work remotely. So these are your frontline, retail workers, the person making your sandwich at, Subway, security people, people at the airport, people at the hospital, those folks that just don't have the ability to work ever really remotely. So if we break down the other 45%, though, it's really interesting to see people's preferences. So of that 45%, 20% actually never want to work from home. I was really surprised to see that this group is largely comprised of younger single people, new grads. I figured these are people that are very used to being, on video because of FaceTime and different things. It's not about that. Actually, what the data shows is that these people realize that they haven't built up their social capital yet. They still need mentoring. A lot of times, if you're, in your 20s, you probably live with 3 roommates. You've got 1 room. You don't want to work from your bedroom, So they actually like to work from the office all the time. Then the next group, 30%, they never want to work from the office. Actually, these are people in their 30s and 40s largely. They've got kids 12 and under. They might be taking care of an elderly parent. They've got pets. They probably live out in the suburbs in a larger house that has an office. So they've got it all set up and they probably never want to leave, right, to go to an office. And then 50% of people, the other 50%, actually, they do prefer a hybrid model where they can actually go into an office sometimes and work remotely sometimes. And you'll see at the bottom of each slide, there's an attrition. This is not data that Stern and Neat collected. This is actually expert data from organizations like Work From Home Research, Stanford University, Harvard, McKinsey, and these very unbiased organizations that were reporting their data. So hybrid work models, there's actually 3. The very first one is fully flexible, and you'll see a few different companies that do it this way, including Neat. The 2 flavors of that basically is fully remote, meaning you don't have an office, you're always working remotely, or 100% choice. It's up to you to go into the office whenever you want, work from home whenever you want, work remotely whenever you want. The other side of the coin on that is fully in office. You don't see this quite as much, but you can see a few examples of organizations that do that, very button up professional companies that probably don't care quite about life balance as much as maybe the rest of us. But this is like pre-pandemic, 100% in the office, 5 days a week, like many of us used to work back in 2019. And then there's organized hybrid, and you can see some examples of companies that do this. The number in the parenthetical represents the number of days that they're asking their employees to be in the office. And the different flavors of this is minimum days, meaning, they say be in the office 3 days, you choose. That's okay, but it's not quite organized enough to maximize productivity. And we'll tell you why in a minute. There's specific days where the company might say, okay, everyone's in the office Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Everyone's at home Monday, Friday. That's definitely a lot better. And then there's a combination of the two, which is maybe a couple flex days. Like you can say everyone's in the office Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday is a choice day, and then Monday, Friday is like everyone works from home, right? So now we'll get into what we call well-kept secrets about hybrid. In the last few years, workers have definitely demonstrated what economists call a revealed preference for hybrid, meaning this is not survey data. This is actually revealed preference means this is observed data that's been documented. This is fact. Quit rates are 35% less for hybrid workers. 44% of executives would take up to a 20% decrease in pay to actually work from home on their preferred days. And that does skew higher for technology and finance workers. And it's not a gender thing. 60% of women and 52% of men would basically start looking for a new job tomorrow if their hybrid option were like taken away from them. And then the last one, which surprised me the most, hybrid workers are 5% more productive than their 100% in office colleagues. I actually thought that one was worth diving into because I didn't understand that when I first read that, and I kind of didn't believe it. But what the data shows is that when you work from home, you save 72 minutes a day. Now, 60 of that is a commute because we, on average, have a 30-minute commute each way. And then there's 12 minutes of get ready time saved. So, Mike knows me. He knows like I'm usually wearing a baseball cap half the time. So I'm not combing my hair. So I'm saving some minutes by doing that. But what the data shows is that the employer actually gets out of that 72 minutes saved 30 extra minutes of work as opposed to the 100% in office folks. So you're working 30 more minutes a day than the in office people. And you actually get a little more personal time too. So it's kind of a win-win, right, on those days. So this probably looks familiar to all of us. On days that you work from home, you start earlier, you work later, you take shorter lunches, you probably just run to the refrigerator and grab something, right? Come back to your desk. We work fuller shifts. What The Guardian says is that they did a study, you're interrupted in the office every 11 minutes. So if you're doing deep work, research, or this kind of thing, it's kind of hard to sometimes get back on track if you're interrupted often. We do have that tendency to always be on when we're at home working, and we work around the clock. And then we take fewer sick days because we can just work from home on days we don't feel well, right? But really the biggest reason that people are more productive, hybrid workers are more productive, is because when you have the ability to work from home and from an office, the days, if the company really leans into this, the days will become more structured and organized. So your in-office days are going to become your natural days for collaboration, team lunches, brainstorming, creative work, and all the things that data shows is better and more productive in that environment. And then your home days are going to be your days for doing research, reports, writing some emails, maybe having a occasional one-on-one, which we can't avoid. But what McKinsey says is that when people do their quiet work and deep work in a quiet environment, there's a 3 to 4% productivity uptick per minute. So we're basically maximizing productivity in each setting. And then, so let's say we're trying to substantiate this 5%, right? Economists are. So on a 40-hour work week, if you're working from home 2 days, what the data shows is they're working that extra hour. So 1 hour compared to a 40-hour work week is already a 2.5% uptick in productivity. And then you add in the productivity added to the days that you're working, in the settings and maximizing the productivity in those settings, it kind of adds up to that 5%. So here's even better kept secrets about hybrid work. All demographics, all races, everybody likes the ability to work from home, but there is a stronger preference within these particular groups And if you just kind of glance at it, it sort of makes sense, right? People with kids, people with disabilities. Women, the preference is not substantial, but it's, there's a 2.8 days preferred at home or remotely versus 2.4 days preferred for men. So it's about half a day a week, which is still notable. And then minorities also have a stronger preference for the ability to work remotely. So the reason we point this out is that any organization that mandates a more full return to office, so 5 days for sure, but even 4 days is probably a lot for some of these groups these days and some of these people, you're going to see a higher attrition level within these groups in particular. And if that compounds over years, there is actually the potential to destroy culture, reverse a lot of progress we've made the last 20, 30 years, and in worst cases, even expose organizations to future lawsuits, right? So it's just something you want to keep in mind. And the other thing you want to keep in mind is that people that work from home 100% of the time face what's called a presenteeism bias. Like they're promoted at a 50% less rate than their in-office colleagues. So you want to make sure you're being fair about, who you're promoting. If you're having hallway conversations with people in the office, you want to make sure you're sort of filling in your people that work from home so that they've got that information and they can, also be considered for those promotions when the time comes. So that's all the scary stuff, the bad stuff. The good stuff, the best thing about doing hybrid right is that it actually does become a huge profit center and a competitive advantage when you do it right. So how is it a profit center? That 5% increase in productivity actually does align directly with revenue. So even as costs remain the same, your revenue is increasing. I mean, tell your CEO that and you'll be his best friend, right? Work from home is seen as a critical perk equal to an 8% increase in pay. So we did see that other stat about, executives taking up to a 20% decrease in pay for their preferred days. This is more of a across all levels of employment, not just executives, an 8% increase in pay. And then happier employees clearly are more easily recruited and retained. There are some possible real estate savings as offices are reimagined, and maybe you don't need a desk for every person. You might have more open collaboration spaces in meeting rooms and maybe a smaller set of desks. And then the biggest one is just huge cost savings from that 35% less quit rate. You've got your employees, if you retain them, they're being productive. You don't have as many employees in new hire and new training mode where they're just learning things and not actually being as productive. And what Gallup shows is that the cost to replace an average worker is 150% of their salary, and it's 300 to 450% for knowledge workers. Just substantial savings by keeping your best employees. So we keep using that phrase, hybrid done right. What does that actually look like? It is organized, meaning people are in on the same days. That's either company-wide or that's team-wide. Hopefully you've built like a framework that has some flexibility or freedom sort of built into it. You're very intentional with your policies. You're very intentional with the goals, meaning in-office days are for collaboration, culture building, connecting with your colleagues, building some energy together, and then you take that energy home, right, for your days working at home. And then exceptions are rare just means people should be in on the days they're supposed to be. If Pete doesn't come in every single Wednesday, pretty soon Susan's not going to come in on Wednesday and Tim's not going to come in Wednesday, et cetera. And then lastly, you should be very purposeful, meaning you're matching people with the right kind of spaces and the right technology so they can be as productive as possible. And you're bringing balance and structure to the work week, as we had mentioned before, doing your collaborative work on in-office days and your quiet work on your home days. And then I like this phrase from Satya Nadella of Microsoft. We need to stop thinking about remote work like a switch and think of it more like a dial. It's not something you turn off and on. It's just something you sort of slide up and down based on market circumstances of your company, et cetera. Speaking of Microsoft, this is a slide they gave us showing examples of some open spaces along with some various size meeting rooms to accommodate different teams. And you can see some beautiful, neat devices outfitted in these spaces. And we're in the home stretch here. So what's out? 100% in office mandates are out. Individual assigned desks, like these photos on the right that look like my career the first 20 years, like everything was beige. I don't know why. Tall walled cubicles are out. And then like Mad Men styled rows of executive offices, that's out, And instead what's in is remote and hybrid work open spaces, lounge spaces, meeting rooms of various sizes to accommodate various teams and functions, short or no walled cubes or desks so that it's more like a community rather than a bunch of individuals, right, doing head down work. Privacy boosts, because you're still always going to have those one-on-one meetings, even when you're in the office, and then hot desking and hoteling, and then technology for home. So people still struggle with their technology at home, the data shows. You can see on the right of the statistics there at the bottom, that's our Neat Frame. That's a device we're actually giving away, but that is a productivity booster for home, and Darren mentioned the frame in just a minute. So in summary, what are the benefits of doing hybrid right? You've got happier employees. You're creating a culture of care, equity, and belonging. You're focusing more on DEI. You're more mindful of your employees' mental and physical wellness. So neat devices allow you to move and speak organically. That's just all really good for you. You've got greater agility and resilience in volatile markets. So if we ever had to lock down again for some reason, you're ready for that, right? There's that possible reduced real estate footprint we mentioned. And then organized hybrid workers being 5% more productive means your company is 5% more profitable. And then lastly, it's just easier to recruit and retain workers. And there's just that huge, enormous savings from retaining your best employees by offering a work policy that keeps them happy. So that is my last slide. This, I just want to mention this really quick. This is some of the experts whose data I've referenced today. And I'm now going to hand it over to Darren, who's going to give you a neat demo.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate it. And I spotlighted myself, so hopefully you can see me on the screen large there. But I'm going to talk about a few experiences here for Neat, which I think are really, really nice and differentiators for our product. The first of which is our Symmetry feature, which is our video AI. And when I talk about symmetry, I always start with talking about how we're finding people in the space, right? So as I move around, you'll see our camera technology finds and follows me. And we do it a little bit differently than some of the other manufacturers. We're not using facial detection. We're not using voice recognition. We're actually looking for the shape of a person. So irregardless of how I'm oriented here, maybe I'm writing on a whiteboard or addressing people in another fashion, not facing forward, we can still find and follow people in the space with no problem. But I think the real advantages here are when we add some additional people to the room. So I'm going to grab a couple of buddies of mine. I'm in Kansas City, and these are some folks you might recognize, comedians here. They actually went to my high school, so I use them.
Oh, did Darren just get cut off?
He did.
Oh boy. Okay.
We'll
Well,
wait for
let's
him
see.
to hopefully join back.
I'll message him and let him know. He's probably trying to
I
join
got him back
again.
in. I just rejoined him.
Great. Sorry, folks.
Thanks for your patience, everyone. Not to worry. These things happen.
And if you can elevate him to a presenter, perfect.
Can you see me now?
Yes, we can.
We sure can. Thanks for joining us again.
I think you're muted, Darren.
We'll just give Darren a couple of minutes. Looks like he's rejoining using a new.
Promise you're going to love these neat devices. We're keeping you in suspense, aren't we, folks?
See and hear me now?
He's back.
Yes.
Welcome back.
All right, very good. Thank you so much.
Nobody noticed a thing.
So when I add these folks to my space, I can actually turn on what we call neat symmetry. So it's giving us a nice individual framing of each person. I can still walk around and change spots. It's still framing me here. So this is what we call neat symmetry. And it really gives us that conference equity experience, right? Where even as I move around, it's going to bring me up to eye level with folks and really give you an ability to be grounded in the conference space. And, you know, if you were presenting to me, you could see everyone in the space and you'd be able to really be able to see and gauge facial expressions and body language. I know we're coming to the end here, so I'm going to go ahead and show some of our products here, especially here, the one that we can see that we're giving away is the Neat Frame. So this is a device that's really unique, great for desktops, for personal home desktops, executive desktops. I have it here on my desk as well. We can also do use cases like hot desking. So it can be in an area that you're going to reserve, be able to do hot desking with it. Same with virtual reception. We do also have some all-in-one bars here. They're including compute. They'll run Microsoft Teams Room natively, Zoom Room natively, and be able to provide basically a conference room in a box. Same with our touch displays, right? So we've got a 65-inch touch display that allow you to do whiteboarding and annotations with a lot of different mounting options. You can see our cart mounts here for our 65-inch, and then our soon-to-be released 50-inch. And then we do have some pads here. So the pads will control our bars as well as optionally control some of our touch screens. And will also be a scheduler on the outside of the room. So I know we're running kind of to the end of the time here. So I'll pass it back to Nicole for any questions and also to do our big giveaway.
Well, thank you so much. That was an absolutely terrific presentation. And thank you so much to our audience for your patience during a little bit of technical difficulty, but not so bad. I'm going to go ahead and reshare my screen. Can everyone see my screen okay? Thank you so much again to Neat and Starren. Well, guess what time it is? It's time for a giveaway. It was actually the frame. So exciting news for our last winner, Nupur Shah from Cal State University, Long Beach. We learned that you are actually not receiving a Neat pad, but actually a Neat frame, which is even better. Very generous prize. It's a one-of-a-kind, portrait-oriented, all-of-a-kind device for Zoom and Microsoft Teams. It's convenient. It's a touch screen. It's compact and elegant, and it's basically a high-resolution workhorse that's perfect for working from home or from your office desk. It's a huge prize. It has a $1,500 price tag. So congratulations again. This is the Neat frame.